Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be taking a look at the ESPN Plus article that covers the 2024 NFL offseason, talking about key free agents, draft notes, and predictions. And just to show you an example with the Buffalo Bills, essentially what this article does is it analyzes a team's 2023 record, their estimated 2024 cap space, their final FPI ranking, their first round draft pick, their biggest offseason priority, their under the radar offseason priority, the latest on whether they will re-sign edge rusher, or I guess insert big own free agent here. In the case of the Bills, it is AJ Epinesa. With the Buccaneers, it'll obviously be somebody different, their draft outlook, and the big prediction for their offseason. And we're going to do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, you have a lot of different people on the ESPN staff here, like Jeremy Fowler is really plugged in. You have the local writers for ESPN doing the under the radar offseason priority. So I'll mention the authors of each paragraph whenever we get to it for the Bucs. And speaking of the Bucs, here we are. 9-8 was their 2023 record. Their final FPI ranking was 17th. Their estimated 2024 cap space is $47 million at this point, and they have the 26th overall pick in the upcoming 2024 NFL draft. And the first thing we're going to be taking a look at is the biggest offseason priority paragraph here. So it says Tampa Bay will be trying to re-sign wide receiver Mike Evans. You talk about the quarterback situation being imperative, re-signing Baker Mayfield, and drafting a quarterback is mentioned here as a possibility. Evans did tie with Tyreek Hill for most touchdown receptions this season. He is still the number one guy. He is a fantastic piece in the Dave Canales offense, and even at age 30, again, he is still absolutely elite. And with the type of play that Mike Evans has in terms of being a big body, go after it and get it type of wide receiver, I really don't expect Mike Evans' play to drop too much as he gets to his 30 plus years here in the NFL. I still think he's going to be one of the top receivers in the league just based on the style of play that Evans has. But I really don't disagree with this. I think bringing back Mike Evans should be and likely will be the number one priority of this team. I've already referenced Jason Light and how he said that the team has plans to re-sign Mike Evans. I still 100% believe that is the case going forward. And yeah, I agree with that 100%. You then take a look at the under the radar offseason priority. Now, this was written by Jenna Lane. And, you know, I've obviously referenced and talked about Jenna Lane articles here in the past. But to take a look at this paragraph, it says Tampa Bay will have to make a decision on coach Todd Bowles. Making the playoffs doesn't mean it's a foregone conclusion that Bowles returns, Tom Brady or not. Ownership, front office wanted to see improvement over the 8-9 record and elimination in the wild card round. I have a strong feeling that this paragraph by Jenna Lane was written before the playoffs started. I think that is very safe to say. The under the radar offseason priority, I think, has pretty much been solved here. Todd Bowles, I believe, is still going to be back. We haven't heard anything reported to say otherwise, so I'm pretty sure Jenna Lane did write this paragraph before the playoffs started. If things would have went differently and the Bucs would have lost in the wild card round, I would have said that was an underrated, under the radar offseason priority for the Bucs, but I'm going to go ahead and say the under the radar offseason priority for the Bucs is investing in the interior offensive line. I will just add to this. Center and left guard, I feel like, are huge needs that are not being as talked about as much, but I think is definitely an under the radar priority for the Bucs. So just to add to Jenna Lane here, she, I believe, had written this before the playoffs started. So my pick for under the radar offseason priority would be interior offensive line. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Dan Graziano has the latest on whether or not they will re-sign quarterback Baker Mayfield. Mayfield's contract voids if he's still on the roster 23 days prior to the start of the league year, which gives the Buccaneers the option to franchise tag him if they so choose. He has played quite well for them and likely, if he hits the market, can look for something along the lines of the Daniel Jones contract, $40 million per year, but the Bucs may decide to keep him around. That's interesting. It's very interesting in my opinion. We have looked at Baker Mayfield's contract in the past here for the Bucs, and right now, at least according to Spot Track, they don't have Baker Mayfield's contract value at $40 million per year. They have his market value at 27.1. It's possible with the playoff win and the type of year that Baker had. Again, I believe he finished with 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the playoffs, 630 plus passing yards. It was a great playoff run as well for Baker, in my opinion. I just don't personally see him being able to get $40 million per year off of 1 year's worth of work, but I could see $30 million per year, something along those lines. But SpotTrack has his market value at a 4-year, $108 million deal with an average salary of $27 million per year. So I don't know if I 100% agree with Graziano here, but who knows? Maybe he will end up being right. Take a look at the draft lookout here from Reed coming in. The interior of the Buccaneers defensive line is set with Vita Vea and rookie Kalijah Kancey. I agree. Yaya's come on strong, but the lack of another edge rusher is glaring. Could be in range for one of the top pass rushers. You look at Jared Verse, Chop Robinson, and Braylon Trice. We've already talked about all 3 of these guys throughout some mock draft processes and really just things along those lines in the past already. So I do get where Reed is coming from. I could also see the Buccaneers heavily invest or heavily be interested in a star number 1 pass rusher in free agency, whoever that may be. I mean, if we want to take a look real quick, I would be more than 100% down for that. But we take a look at, let's say, edge. We go to edge here. You have a lot of different guys in there. Danielle Hunter, I could 100% see being a guy that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be interested, even at an annual salary of $20 million per year, a 3-year, $60 million deal. I don't have to tell you guys how good Danielle Hunter has been. He has been absolutely fantastic, and I think that he is a guy that would help out this Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rush tremendously. I mean, you look at his overall stats. This year he had 16.5 sacks. Last year he had 10.5. The dude has been a double-digit sack machine every year he has been healthy for an entire season. So I would expect the Buccaneers to be heavily interested in a guy like Danielle Hunter, but ultimately we will have to wait and see. There's some other interesting names out there, like Carl Lawson could be an option. Maybe Marcus Davenport, I don't know. And then you have some other options who aren't as, well known, maybe like a Romeo Okwara. Chase Young would be great, although I feel like he's going to be a guy who's probably going to break the bank, although if he is available, I would heavily pursue him. I mean, for me, the guys that I would pursue if I was the GM, and I think the Buccaneers should pursue, if I had to pick 5, maybe I will talk about this in a separate video, but, Danielle Hunter, Carl Lawson, Chase Young, those are 3 guys that come to names, and without looking at the rest of this list, I may want to make a separate video talking about that, but those are 3 guys that I would heavily target if I was the Bucs. So I do agree that a pass rusher would be very strong. Maybe in the first round, wouldn't surprise me, but also I talked about the interior offensive line. We've seen a wide receiver mocked to the Bucs in the past. We've seen a cornerback mocked to the Bucs in the past as well. Those are going to be some other things to consider. In the big off-season prediction for the Buccaneers, according to Schatz, is this: the Buccaneers will sign left tackle Tristan Wirfs to a contract extension to keep him with the team through his peak years while lowering his 2024 cap hit of $18.6 million. Wirfs ranked 23rd among tackles in pass block win rate. That is both left and right tackles, by the way, an 89.5% win rate there in his first season after switching from right to left side. Again, Tristan Wirfs has been fantastic. That has been something that a lot of people have talked about already in terms of Wirfs getting some type of new deal this offseason as a way to free up some cap space. Right now, his market value is $25.5 million. I would pay him that money and not think too hard about that. I really do. I think he deserves to be one of the top, if not the top paid tackle in the entirety of the league. And a 4-year deal would be great. It would keep him around until he'd be 29, almost 30 years old. And that would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. So a lot of this stuff, I don't even know if that's even a big prediction. I guess why not, right? Because it is a huge, huge contract. But I would pay Tristan Wirfs that contract without really thinking too much about it. I'm going to say the big prediction here is the Bucs are going to go out and sign. If I had to give a guy, I'll say Danielle Hunter. Why not? I'll say Danielle Hunter as the big prediction for the Bucs. And I get with these paragraphs, they wanted to explore different types of position groups and whatnot with all the different types of things. But there you go. That is what ESPN has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers doing this offseason. Do you guys agree with it? Do you disagree with some of the comments that were made here in this, paragraph, these articles for the Bucs? In my opinion, I agree with the biggest offseason priority. I'm fine with the big prediction for the offseason. I'm fine with the draft outlook. I don't know if Baker's going to get $40 million per year. I don't know. I could see 30. I really could. 30 to maybe 35 is the range, but 40 might be a bit much. And then obviously, I think it is just obvious. I think Jenna Lane had to write this before the playoffs started, which is why you have this here. So my under the radar offseason priority would be the interior offensive line. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.